Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a little different, as today I am going to explain and test a claim that I made in my first roleplay video, that the settings that I play on are the most realistic settings you can play on for roleplay to create the most realistic day-to-day operations on a farm. Now, I need to preface that by saying that visually, this does not always work, but role play, it seems to always work for me, although I have never actually tested it to see if it really is realistic. Just because it works doesn't mean it's realistic. So we're going to do that today. As you can see, there's a little bit of equipment behind me all the way around, because depending on how this first test goes, there may be more tests going on to test some other theories that I have, that maybe some of you out there that are real big into the role playing and are looking for the most realistic, um, maybe they'll help you. Depending on how these tests go, maybe it'll help you determine what works best for your role play situation. So, with that being said, real quick, before we jump into one of the tractors and get started, I need to give some general basics on the way this works, or the way I assume this works. And this is how I'm going to explain it. Like I said, we're going to test it, see if I'm right or wrong. Chances are I'm probably wrong. But so in Farming Simulator, as we know, all the maps are 2x, which is 2 kilometers by 2 kilometers, 2 kilometers squared. I did all the conversions to US standard just because that's where I'm at. If you're watching this outside of the US, keep it in your metric system and do the conversions the same way. So 2 kilometers is 1.24, call it a mile and a quarter. I do everything on a 10x time scale, which my theory is, and I have loosely tested this in the past, we're going to hardcore test it today. My theory is on the 10x time scale, you take everything on the map and multiply it by 10. Meaning, on a 2x map in miles is 1.24 miles by 1.24 miles. You multiply that by 10, you get 12.4 miles square. To take that even further, 12.4 miles square, there is 7,680 acres in 12 square miles. And I say that because this 10 times carries over, like I said, into everything except for equipment size. You do not mess with the size of the equipment. This is purely for the size of the map and the size of the fields. So to show you what I'm talking about, we are on Riverbend Springs, and we are testing on field 38, which if you click on field 38, it tells you that it is 13.24 acres. That does include this little piece up here and the edges. So for round numbers, we're going to call it 13 acres. If you multiply that by 10, this field is 130 acres. I understand, like I said, it doesn't work visually until you look at this whole map and consider that, based on the way I do this map is 12 miles by 12 miles. So, like I said, there's over 7,500 acres inside this map based on this. As far as I can tell, this works on any time scale you want to play on. If you want to play on 5x time scale, you multiply everything by 5. If you want to play on real time, you leave everything the way it is. If you jump up to 2x time scale, you go by 2. Whatever time scale you're playing on is what you multiply everything by, except for the equipment. The equipment's the only thing you don't mess with. So the first test we are going to do is cultivating this field 38, which, like I said, should be 130 acres based off of the 10x time scale. Now, to do that, we are going to use this bad boy. This is the 649 RX with the Summer Super Chisel CP2050. Just to do the quick conversions on this. This also plays a part into this. So doing the conversions, this is a 60-foot cultivator. Working speed on it is 6 miles an hour. Again, where you multiply everything by 10 comes into effect. The way you figure out acres per hour that this machine should work is you take the width, multiply that by the speed, and you divide it by 10. So we have a 60-foot cultivator that works 6 miles an hour. You divide that by, you take the 60 times 6 divided by 10, and you come out to 36 acres an hour average that this machine should work based on the time scale and multiplying everything else by 10. So if this field 38 is 130 acres based off of that, it should take somewhere around 3 to 3.5 hours to cultivate this field in game time on the 10x setting. Today, I am only testing the 10x setting. I will explain I will show you all of my settings real quick, but today we are only testing the time scale. But my settings are, I run 10x time scale, I run economic difficulty on hard, I do run traffic on. For this video, I'm running it off. Like I said, all we're testing is time scale, but just to show you, I do run 28 days. I'll have to explain the 28-day thing in a later video, but I do run 28 days, seasonal growth on, fixed visual month off, and then I run all of this on snow, crop destruction, plowing, lime required, weeds, everything. Because as long as my timescale conversion is correct, everything else being on is a part of the normal day-to-day operations on a farm. So it all falls into play. Fuel usage, I also run on high. The fuel usage versus the time scale is something else that I'm going to test in another video. But yes, that's all the settings that I run. Like I said, in this video, all we are testing is the time scale. So I am going to get the tractor set up and ready to start testing the cultivation, and I will see y'all back here in a minute. All right, y'all. I've pulled into the field. I've got the GPS set up, gonna get unfolded. It's 8 o'clock in the morning right now on my 10 times time scale. So if my theory is correct, and I will post this video either way, whether I'm right or wrong, because if I'm wrong, then maybe somebody can give me some insight on a better way to look at it. If I'm right, which I kind of sort of doubt it, but you know, you never know. But if I'm right, then it, you know, might be some good information for somebody. So, but we are going to work this field, like I said, based off of the theory that I use and the way that I play. It should take somewhere around 3 to 3.5 hours in game to cultivate this field. So we're going to get this cultivated, and we will come back when I'm done with this, and we will see how it worked out. See y'all shortly. guys, we're back. It is currently 10:45 in the morning. So we are 2 hours 45 minutes, almost 3 hours into this, and I mean we're pretty close on that time scale versus, you know, what the actual numbers said it should take. Like I said, I understand this does not work visually. If you're going for visuals, then I think you need to maybe stick to real time or like 1x, 2x, maybe even 5x. I do the 10x because I play the 28-day months, and I try to play it as, like I said, realistic as possible. I try to do what a farmer does on a daily basis. Play in the 28 days, yes, I do skip a lot of days because with 28-day months, I can really let things like rain, the cold, I can really let those things affect my days. You know, a farmer might miss out on a week of field work because it rains. So with 28-day months, I can do the same thing. The 10x time scale, all that does is makes it easy for me to do the conversions like I was explaining. You know, multiplying everything times 10, letting it affect everything except for the size of the equipment. If you're role playing, you're using your imagination anyways, so you have to kind of let your imagination make up for the way it doesn't look right visually. You know, calling this field 130 acres does not look right. I understand that. But here it is, 11:07. We'll call it 11:10 in the morning. So it took 3 hours and 10 minutes to cultivate this field, which, based off of the math, is right. So there you go. That's just a quick explanation of the way I use the settings. Um, like I said, I do have some more tests that I'm going to run. I'm even going to test a different time scale with a different piece of equipment to see if it still plays out the same, if it still works the same. But yeah, if you're into the hardcore role play and you're looking for as realistic as possible, um, there you go. This is the way I play it. The math works out. Doing the 10x, multiplying everything by 10 makes it really easy to figure out and convert. So I do, like I said, I'm gonna run a couple more tests. I'm gonna test a different time scale. I want to do a comparison on the fuel usage, being as I run it at high. Um, so expect a couple more of these settings test videos to see if I'm onto something here with saying that these settings are as realistic as possible. Hope maybe this video will help somebody decide what kind of settings they want to use, and we will catch y'all on the next one.